share, recipe share. Share a little recipe with Recipe Share. Recipe Share, Recipe Share. Share a little recipe with Recipe Share.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Recipe Share, a program on AADL TV where we take a few minutes to talk about recipes in a featured category. Today's category is Baked Until Bubbly. I'm Elizabeth, and as usual, I'm joined today by Beth and Katie to tell us about their recipes. So Beth, tell us about your Baked Until Bubbly recipe.
All right, my friends, I made something that is near and dear to my heart that I love, like will get anywhere in the world, and it's pizza. I used Alton Brown's dough recipe that was recommended to me by our friend Emily. And it's a no-knead dough. So, and geez, with the thing that I have, the KitchenAid, it's not even work, really. It's amazing. So you make your dough, you let it sit for between, like, I think it said 8 to 21 hours, so I think I did let it sit overnight. But I don't want to go too much into that. The first couple of pieces, so it makes 3 pizza doughs. So I made 2 one night with, I used my cast iron skillets. I was curious how that would work, and it was good, but I had this idea in my head. I was gonna not make pepperoni like I always love to have, but I bought some green, like arugula and spinach and some goat cheese, and I already had some bacon, so I was using that, and it was it was okay, but it wasn't like I just kept eating it like, yeah, this isn't the best pizza. So the third one, though, I realized I needed to use up, and I made a quick pivot and decided I'm going to make this a Detroit style pizza. So I went to Kenji Lopez Alt's recipe for Detroit style pizza, and he really breaks down the science of it. He played with the dough. I learned that the crumb. Did you know that the crumb of a dough, bread dough, pizza dough, is the patterns and sizing of the holes in it? Oh, you did? Okay. Well, I only thought of crumbs, the crumbs. So I learned that. And so I got a little, okay. So I'm making this. I'm like, who am I kidding? I need pepperoni if I'm making a Detroit style pizza. So I had Kurt stop at the store. Also, he based his recipe off of Buddy's, and the historical, inventor of the Detroit style pizza. And so there's a specific kind of pan you need to use. I did not have it. Again, this was all like, I'm going to do it this way, within minutes of, and I'm like, so there's a certain pan. There's also, they use Wisconsin brick cheese. That's not really something you can find at the store. He said he got it on Amazon. So we use mozzarella, and what else? So then there's all this, about the difference of the Detroit pizza is that you put the cheese on your dough and then build up from there. So I did a little of that. I'm pretty sure I had a different cheese too. I think I sliced some mozzarella and had grated. So I put some in there, put it in a cake pan this time, a square baking dish. And it turned out I really liked it that way. I put a lot of olive oil on the crust. Finally, put your toppings on, which again is its own whole chapter of the order of toppings. But I did put pepperoni, and I baked it till it was bubbly, and it was good. So that's my story about pizza. I think I would like to invest in one of those real good pans, and really maybe that would be my goal, is to make a Buddy's style really good pizza.
I'm really glad you did this because I have a friend who makes Detroit style pizza. She lives in Wisconsin, so she gets the like special cheese you mentioned, and she has the pan and stuff. And when she was telling me about it, I was like, that sounds great, but like I don't have that pan and also the cheese. She's like, I don't like you. I don't think she's like, I've never seen it in Michigan. It's like there, or she doesn't just like not admire or whatever. Um, so I'm interested that you were able to mostly succeed without any of these accoutrements. So that's cool to hear.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it worked out. I think one thing I didn't do with these three is just make a flat pizza. And I realized I don't have the round pizza thingy. I thought pan. And it wouldn't have had to be. So I'm not going to give up on making pizza, but that was what I did. And someday I'll share it with you guys. Oh, and I have a couple different pictures of the first one I made with arugula and then the pepperoni, which looks like a real pizza. So yeah. Anyway, what did you make, Katie?
All right, well, I'm just gonna say, all I have to say about that is I love Buddies. I'm glad that you tried that. And I hope that you do continue on and try and replicate it, because Buddies is good, but it's really only for special occasions. So it'd be super fun, at least for me. So it'd be super fun to be able to like make it at home. So very cool. Good job. I will tell you about my baked till bubbly recipe. I'm excited to share this with you guys. This is for chicken broccoli rice casserole, and it's from spendwithpennies.com. And this was a little bit outside of my box. I wasn't sure if I was going to like this. I don't know that I've ever had anything like this since maybe I was a little kid. Like a rice casserole is not usually something that I would go for, but I was like, I'm going to try something different. Let's go for it. And I was really happy that I did. I like this recipe a lot. So you just take your Dutch oven. Oh, you preheat your oven, because you do this on the stovetop and then into the oven. So you preheat the oven. Then you, in your Dutch oven or large oven safe pot, you cook some onion with some butter until that's tender. Then you add some garlic until that is fragrant. Then you stir in cream cheese and dried oregano and basil and just cook that around until it's creamy. Then you add chicken broth and broccoli. And this recipe actually calls for instant rice. So I don't ever have instant rice. I just had regular rice. So what I did was I just pre-cooked my rice in my rice cooker. And then there's a step here that's like, add your rice, turn off the heat, cover, let it sit for 5 minutes. And, I just skipped that. Okay. So then you stir in your chicken. So this is cooked chicken that I shredded, and then sour cream, Parmesan cheese, and cheddar cheese. And you stir all that together, and then you top it with more cheddar cheese and breadcrumbs. And then you bake it for 20 minutes until the cheese is browned on top and it's bubbly around the outside. And this was just like very, very much a comfort food, super cheesy and chickeny. And I made it once, and then I made it very shortly after again. So that's always a sign of success for me. And I'll definitely make this again. It's wonderful.
Yeah, that's conjuring up some memory of either a dormitory or a holiday or a potluck or something where I just like really dug it. So yeah, that sounds delicious. Cheesy. I mean, you speaking my language. You got the cream cheese, the sour cream, broccoli. Yeah.
It's so funny you said that, Beth, because I was thinking, so when I was in college at Michigan, I didn't live in the dorms, but a lot of my friends did. And whenever there was chicken broccoli, it was like a big deal, chicken broccoli casserole day. And it would be like, oh, like tomorrow's the day. And everyone would go to the dining hall and like get like plates of it. And it was like this big, like, it was like everyone would just like talk about it because they would like send out the menu. So I just thought of that too. It was beloved for sure.
That's wild. Yeah, that just sounds like a perfect family dish, toddler dish. any
Yeah.
of that stuff.
I bet the grandbabies would eat that, Beth.
Oh, they totally would. If it's got cheese in it, right? It's got everything they like. So
I
yeah.
also like this as a hungry college student meal too, because it's not very expensive to make on your own as well. So like, yeah, I just think this comfort food for all ages. We'll just call it that. Okay, Elizabeth, tell us what you made, please.
Okay, well, I was feeling guilty because I've been cooking out of the same cookbook, but I decided not to feel guilty because I keep making good recipes from it and I enjoy it. So this is once again this book that I got for Christmas, Smitten Kitchen Keepers. And I've just been excited. The recipes in it are so accessible. So I've just been really excited to, yep, you know, Beth. I've just been excited to keep trying them and I keep seeing good ones. So for this one, I made Swiss chard enchiladas. So I have not done this before. I've made sweet potato enchiladas, and of course I've made like chicken and all that. So this was intriguing to me. I wasn't sure how it would turn out. But basically, so you make the filling. So you have, you heat some olive oil in the pan and you add the charred stems that you've separated from the leaves and you kind of chopped them into little thin slices. You add them, a half a chopped red onion and 4 cloves of sliced garlic, season with salt and pepper, just let everything get nice and soft. And then you add in the Swiss chard leaves that you have chopped separately. Let those wilt for a few minutes. And then you add in a cup of frozen corn kernels and a can of rinsed black beans, and then a cup of crumbled queso fresco. And you just stir it all together. And then this recipe called for me to make my own like enchilada sauce. I did not do that because I just didn't think it was necessary. I think they have really like those cans of enchilada sauce are good. And like, I'm like, I don't need to get out my blender to like make this. So I just bought a thing of red enchilada sauce, but this has a thing you can do, whatever. And then you take your flour tortillas, put the filling in, roll them up. You have your 9x13 pan and you put a little enchilada sauce in the bottom first, and then you pack in your tortillas and then drizzle the rest of the enchilada sauce on top. And then I also put a bunch of, I use like the Mexican blend for cheese on top. And you bake it and it comes out bubbly indeed. And then it suggests topping with cilantro, avocado, and sour cream, which I did all of. And this was so good. I made this for my friend who I have cooked for quite frequently. And they said that this might be their favorite thing I've ever made, which I was like, whoa, because I have cooked for them for years. And I was like, I don't know if I'm offended or like, this is really good. So loved it. Definitely adding in it to the repertoire. Actually, the next morning after I made this for dinner, I had like an enchilada with a fried egg on top for breakfast because it was just like so good. And I was really pleased with how the chard worked in the filling. Not something I would have thought of is to use that. So I highly recommend. I loved it, and I'm gonna keep making it. So yeah.
That's so cool. I love Swiss chard. It's one of my favorite greens, and I never would have thought to put it in enchiladas, and it sounds amazing. So yeah, I'm so glad that you shared that. I'm definitely gonna make that. And well, I mean, that endorsement from your friend, I'm like, okay, well, that's happening.
I know, I was shocked. It was I was like, okay, this is staying on the list for sure.
Very nice.
Yeah, I like that. I wouldn't have thought of Swiss chard either. I do happen to have a bunch of kale that could be thrown. I'm like, I've heard of kale enchiladas. I've not heard of Swiss or chard enchiladas.
Yeah, I hadn't either.
Yeah, very nice. So all healthy and
I know. My one tip is definitely to like make sure it gets nice and soft, because I think like it could be tough, but if you just leave it in the pot and like let it get all nice and wilty, it was all good. So
nice. Good job.
okay, well, if we have no further comments, I will take us out and say thank you for watching Recipe Share, and be sure to click the link below to look at the event page on aadl.org to find the recipes we talked about, and do feel free to share your own in the comments. Join us next time on Recipe Share when we will be talking about recipes that involve something from the sea. We are looking forward to seeing what you've been making, so thanks for sharing.
Recipe share, share a little recipe with recipe